Welcome to Swift Recaps. The opening of the animation movie takes place in an African savanna, where the creatures are watching. Billy, a meerkat, sets out to locate water for his family during a drought because the yearly stream has failed to flow into the valley. However, he is deterred on his way when he encounters his lion companion Socrates. Billy starts playing golf and is soon joined by his wife Bonnie, who had left the house to search for her husband. A female giraffe and an elephant who had come to protest about the lack of water flowing from the mountains also joined them. The animals are unaware that the drought they are going through is a consequence of the dam, nor do they know that the waterways in the delta are progressively drying up, which was constructed a great distance distant. A polar bear is seen in the Arctic far distant. As the glaciers in the area start to melt, a bear called Sushi is forced to leave her habitat and collapse, leaving her stranded on an iceberg in the Pacific. A ship navigated by intoxicated crew crashes on a rock and spills oil across the water, sending two naked tortoise couples Winston and Winifred away from their former habitat across Australia. A motorcycle rider starts a fire that consumes the bushes where the wildlife survives, sending Tony the kangaroo and his friend Smiley away to find greener pastures. A different scenario begins inside a ship and shows a rooster called Charles who is about to be slaughtered for food by a chef but manages to free himself by leaping from the ship into the water, and falls on a bathtub where Toby, Smiley and the two turtles they meet on their journey are. They are all traveling to the delta in Africa where migratory birds halt after having informed them that Charles has decided to join because of the animals. Sushi, the polar bear, is also traveling with them. He knows how to travel and searches for protection, so he can take them on the trip. They eventually reach land after several days of journey and start trekking. They headed through the Sahara back to Africa. Billy leaves once more to get water, but there are reports that the rhinoceros and buffaloes are fighting over who will drink first at the water outflow. Billy ignores Jason's advice to hold back until the animal scuffle between the herds of animals has subsided. The meerkat walks between the middle of the buffaloes and rhinoceros and starts fetching water into his gore, infuriating the animals, who then start chasing after him in large numbers. Billy picks himself up off the ground after running him over in front of his wife and son. He is carrying a broken melon, and his wife is worried that they will all soon become dehydrated. Comforts her and assures her that he would go get water but won't come back until he has. Billy proceeds to meet him outside the residence to assure him of the availability of water, but the juvenile meerkat snaps angrily at Billy's father, accuses him of making empty pledges and labels him a failure. Billy is shocked by what his son just told him, so he dejectedly sets out to find water as he had promised. First, he stops at Socrates the lion's abode to tell him about his plan to travel to the mountains in search of water, but Socrates informs him that he must pass through the valley of death to do so, through which no one survives. He also tells Billy that he won't be traveling with him. The meerkat decides to go alone despite his concerns. Billy travels far on foot. Billy eventually makes it to the valley's entry, where he sees three vultures who are eager to get a new vehicle. As Billy approaches the valley, he feels dread in his heart as he observes there are many bones scattered about. He is abruptly touched on the shoulder. When he learns that it is his Socrates the lion had transformed, he turns around out of terror. He changed his mind and chose to accompany Billy on his quest for water. Moment is cut short when the valley's resident Black Panther shows up, prompting them to take off their shoes. While Billy is still being pursued by the leopard, Socrates flees in a different direction. The meerkat halts as the leopard roars and approaches him, but quickly backs away to his astonishment as they come to a dead end. The polar bear who made the panther turn away as Sushi gets nearer to Billy and yells at the beast until it disappears from view. With the leopard gone, the other sojourners emerge out of their hiding too. Upon meeting Billy and Socrates and introducing themselves to the creatures at night, Socrates and Billy are alert while the travelers and the flames are asleep. Billy inquiries from the lion about the cause of the scar on his face, so Socrates tells him a story of his earlier years. He narrates that he used to have a sibling whom he did everything with but was shot once. In the future morning, Charles stays behind with an already weakened Sushi and the elderly tortoises while Toby and Smiley accompany Billy. That day by a poacher's brother was killed in the same valley, and the bullet bruised his nose ever since. And Socrates on their quest to the valley's conclusion for water. Billy finds the enormous dam that has been built and is the cause of the savannah's shortage of water when he enters through the steps to provide electricity for a posh retreat. The animals travel through the dam with a canoe and arrive at the resort where Toby and Smiley joyfully run around and indulge themselves to sunken beverages. Mr. Smith owns this resort, which presently houses guests arriving for the climate conference. While Billy proceeds to get a drink of water, Socrates enters the same hallway and everyone becomes terrified and starts fleeing for their lives as they discover they are among humans. After learning that a lion has taken up residence at the resort, Mr. Smith calls the poacher who killed Socrates' sibling to get rid of the animal, and the guy shows up, to only see Billy and start firing. Billy flees in terror as he scampers into a tank, where he is assaulted. He swims to another area of the water where he is attacked by the fish there and is later spewed out into a lagoon where the shark is swimming. When Billy is about to swim out of the pool, the resort owner's daughter points him out and extends her hand to assist the poacher. She then pushes a switch to flush the pool water down a pipe. Billy will be brought along with the meerkat later. Toto, the hotel's symbol, a chimpanzee, rescued him from the ocean. Toto gathers the animals together in a room to protect them from the poacher. As he enters his boss's office, he overhears Mr. Smith ordering the gunman to tranquilize Socrates instead of killing him so they can sell him to a casino in Las Vegas. Billy explains that the animals came to the resort in search of water. As a result, he plans to open the dam to release water to the valley so that they would return to the savannah. However, as they have already done too much damage, he takes them to the control center and asks them to wait outside. Frustrated, the chimpanzee asks why the animals are there. The animals nevertheless follow him inside as he enters to activate the barrier. Billy unintentionally presses a trigger after Socrates shoots a dart. He unlocks the dam after visiting Socrates, slowly passing out in attempts to assist, but is pushed out and tossed into the ocean instead. When they rise from the ground and see the poacher speeding towards them in his vehicle, along with Toby and Smiley through the dam, they all take to their feet. While Smiley tries everything in his power to repel the man, it is ineffective as he is flung across the ground, so Toby takes up Billy and puts him in his pouch. However, everyone is protected from the poacher. Billy reports that after Charles and the tortoises knock his car off the road and into a boulder, knocking him unconscious, they all flee to a secure location. Charles comes to the conclusion that they would need to recruit the help of the other animals to rescue the lion and also get back water to the valley because everything they saw at the resort also mentioned that Socrates is being held prisoner inside. After the narcotic wears off, Socrates awakens at the hotel and discovers himself in a cell. Toto, who is seated next to him, tells him that his friends managed to flee to Savannah. Billy's family is suffering from hunger and dehydration, and there is a battle going on for what little water is still available. Over by the buffaloes and rhinoceroses, Charles and the rest of the animals soon arrive at the savannah, and he heads to speak with Angie, the leader of the animals. He informs her that Billy has discovered where the water is being held, and she orders that the great horn be blown away to assemble the animals. Billy blows the horn, and all the animals of the savannah of every kind are gathered. People of all categories are drawn to the gathering. Angie plays her horn to get their attention so she can continue. She declares that this is the first time a gathering of this kind has ever taken place in the desert and orders that it be conducted in silence and that no animal should try to harm another afterward. She moves aside so Billy can speak, proclaims to the animals that they must march over to the dam in order to obtain what they require. He also says that Socrates is being held prisoner by the hotel and that the water that is supposed to flow through the valley to the savannah is being held back by the dam. Unfortunately, the animals don't take Billy's comments seriously because they already think of him as a failure and can tell that the animals aren't treating the situation seriously. Gravely, Winston and Winifred, an elderly pair, step in. Winifred explains to the animals how humans have harmed wildlife in other parts of the world through their self-centered actions. She also informs them that the chemicals emitted by industrial activities have made their natural environments, which were once a haven of calm, toxic. The animals become quiet as they reflect on what the elderly tortoise has said before dispersing as Winifred continues to caution them that if they do not rise up and battle, the selfish humans will come to take the paradise remaining for animals, which is the savannah in Africa. Winston and Winifred reproduce at night. They passed away at the age of 715. The tortoise's demise will be reported the following day. Spreads throughout the savannah and all of the creatures gather as they start there. They advance in the direction of the valley, where they eventually stop and proceed in the direction of the dam while scanning their surroundings for the black panther. In the meantime, the leopard hears the animals moving through the rocks and prepares for an assault. He leaps over Charles, but the rooster talks to him without showing any sign of concern. With confidence that makes the leopard scared, so he allows him go to the hotel. Toto decides he must protect the animals, so he conceals inside the poacher's aircraft and prevents him from firing missiles straight at them. After a plane crashes, the poacher pulls out his gun to shoot the chimpanzee, but another monkey saves him. The animals in front of the dam then decide to send a message to the hotel guests by releasing bees to attack them, while the poacher goes back to his room to get more weapons to fight off the animals. As the hotel guests were being attacked by bees, Maya released Socrates from his cage. The lion and the poacher then engage and he is startled as Socrates approaches and plunges into the water. The poacher is then flushed down the toilet after the lion pushes a switch. The creatures outside start pounding on the dam's wall, but their weight has little impact on the wall behind them. The poacher emerges from one of the openings as the rhinoceroses and buffaloes continue to strike the wall together in synchrony, knocking the poacher out cold. Socrates can be seen at the summit of the dam through the toxic vapor Smiley is spewing above them, which excites Billy, who starts drumming as the creatures start chanting. After singing and dancing, Billy fires a stone into a gap in the dam, reigniting the earlier flue rocket, which causes the dam to blow. The animals are then carried across the valley back to the savannah by the water that has been seeping out of fissures, giving them the long-desired water, and they live peacefully there ever after. While the hotel is being torn down, the proprietor is sitting with his daughter and watching the joyful creatures across the savannah. The animals show up in large numbers to the upcoming UN Climate Summit in New York to protest people and hold them accountable. The responsibility for their deeds rests with this. Thank you for viewing. We'll be back shortly with a new movie review. Stay positive and unwind. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.